Welcome everyone to Rewinding Founders. My name is Adi, and today we're going to be talking to Taisa Mukha, one of the founders and CEO of Plane. Taisa, how are you doing?
Yes, thanks for the intro. All good, all great. I'm very excited about sharing my experience with fellow founders.
Amazing. So, one question we just talked about before we started recording is the word founder. So, and you told me a story about when you were in an accelerator. So tell us, what's that feel like? How do you feel about calling yourself a founder? What was that like?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I guess only founder can formulate this as a question because I guess we all feel it that probably we do not deserve this big name like founder or CEO. And I was constantly a bit like sensitive about it. And recently, the story that I told you that we were in a Techsters in the accelerator and we had an alumni panel of very experienced founders that raised a lot of money that have like amazing companies and products. And they were sharing like that still when they pronounce this, I am the CEO and co-founder of something, they feel like, really? Is it me? And yeah, it was such a relief for me to know that it's not only me who has this weird thought in mind. And still, honestly, I feel like I should deserve it because still, of course, I founded a company, so I am a founder, but it still feels like you have to deserve it. Not sure if it's normal, but if people feel this way, it's like pretty okay. Everybody feels it. So yeah, but weird feeling. I totally relate to this.
Perfect. So, how did you get into entrepreneurship? How did you end up being a founder?
Yes, I feel, I guess I share the opinion of people who are saying that you're normally born this way. Because recently I was talking to my friends and I was remembering, okay, what was my first business? And actually it was when I was in the first grade of school, I guess. I was selling songs. I was downloading them from the internet, playing with my friends and selling them these songs. So that was my first one. But yeah, but overall, all the way through school, university, I was always engaged in my own projects. I was organizing a lot of events, workshops, summer school, exhibitions, and yeah, then I founded my own design company. It was in interior design and architecture, and now finally playing. And what's interesting, that is the first time I'm focused only on one venture, because normally I was doing everything at the same time, like some ideas here, some projects there, and now only this, and it feels much more important. And finally, I can call myself founder, but still have this thought in mind.
Wow. And what made you go from being a more mm, traditional or regular business, doing your design to actually doing a startup?
Yes, honestly, I feel like all the decisions I made in life, it was partially I was brave to do so, but partially it was the context. Because the decision to switch from interior design and architecture to tech field and to startups was a hard one for me because I had a really great career in architecture and design and I was promoted really fast. I had a good salary. Everything was great. It was really hard to quit it. Yeah, but I always felt like, okay, I will regret it if I don't try. And then some external events also like helped me to do this decision. So I decided to ignore all the fears and just give it a try because I will regret it if I don't.
Mhm. How did Plane begin?
How did flame begin? Yeah, actually, feels like when you look back, it feels like everything in your life was happening for it to start, for plane to start. But at the moment when I was starting it, it wasn't like that. But yeah, I was always into design and architecture. Plus, I had this really entrepreneurial spirit, but I was always afraid of tech, honestly. I thought that people in tech, they're just doing crazy things. They're like, it's always about like robots, artificial intelligence, space, something like they're rock stars. They were rock stars for me all. And I couldn't relate to that. But then I gave myself a try. I went to work for a tech company for a year. I realized that, okay, we're all humans. We all can do it. Yes, and I decided to basically pursue my dream to connect interior design and architecture with technology. And for a few months, I was just, at the beginning, I was just doing research. I was having like interviews, surveys, asking people, getting feedback on my idea. I actually even bought a membership to a mentorship platform, and I was interviewing people about my idea there. I was like really using it for feedback for playing. Yeah, so it was like few months purely discovery. Then I quitted my job, and also my co-founder decided to quit. And it's like since that moment, it became like more serious, more real, because we're like, okay, we're all in. We have to make it a business. And then, yeah, we had some clients who we served manually just to prove that it may work, our long-term vision may work. And then as we both first-time founders, startup founders, I had an experience, but it was a regular business. So for us, the best option was to go through accelerator. So we were applying to several, and we actually even didn't go to some that we were selected to. But Techstars was a perfect choice for us. They accepted us, and in few months we had this program, and they helped us a lot to start and to avoid a lot of mistakes. So for us, yes, that's how it begins, and it was quite a smooth way, actually, I guess.
What do you mean smooth?
Yeah, maybe I'm too optimistic, but I always tend to forget all the bad and hard stuff that happened. But I believe that we had a really great beginning, because at the beginning it was purely research. It was talking to people, like really believing that we will change the world. And then once we wanted to get accepted to accelerators, we got in, and the Techstars, like they are top 3 were accelerator in the world. So we were super happy. They helped us a lot. Now we have a lot of troubles with execution still. It's quite tough, but I believe that's a good way still. Yeah.
And I'm sure that if we talk in a year's time, you'd say that this period of time was super great. So,
Yeah, I'm happy to have this memory, because I forget all the bad stuff every time. So yeah, maybe that is the fact that helps me through the entrepreneurship.
that's not a bad thing, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. How did you meet your co-founder?
Yeah, that's the story that we always tell to all the investors and mentors. And we already have this clear story, because it is funny, but actually we met when I was at my workplace. I was in the office working for a design studio, and he was a friend of my colleague. So he came to work in our office for a few weeks. So we met, and he was working all the time. I was working all the time. In our free time, we were like reading books in the same meeting room. So we were like super focused on work and self-development. And we had great relationships through years. And once I was always more about entrepreneurship, but he had a great career in tech field. But somehow, at the same moment, we decided that, okay, that's the moment to pursue our own venture. And we didn't want to work together because we were so afraid to like lose these personal relationships, because but kind of great. And yeah, but when we were looking for co-founders, we even used this like YC platforms for co-founder matching, and it was like nothing worked. And we realized, okay, why we're perfect fit for each other. We have such a complementary skills. We should try. And we tried, and so far it works good. And yeah, it's just like it definitely it is hard to work with someone with whom you have a good personal relationships, but also there are so many benefits. So far it works.
Amazing. How would you say your relationship changed from when you were just friends to now that you're like probably talking to each other a lot?
Yeah, exactly. Uh, that's a good question. I would say that we definitely became more patient because actually we don't have a lot of conflicts in the work process, but when you're super stressed, it is just hard to keep your frustration inside, and you're just starting to argue, to blame other people. And in moments where we are super stressed, it is hard. But now we kind of reflected on it, and now we can feel that, okay, this person behaves this way because he's stressed, because he feels bad, and we just should support each other. It's not like a personal thing. So we are really supportive now. And actually, the Techstars program helped us a lot because that was such an intensity, like this 3-month program. We were super stressed all the time. We were arguing a lot, but somehow we succeeded to understand that it's not us, it's not that we are bad, it's just like the amount of stress, and every person under so much stress behaves a bit differently, and we just should have empathy to each other. So still everything is good so far. Ask me in a year.
Amazing. It's so fun when you like meet a co-founder that just it's so hard to find when you're looking for it, but when it's from the people you know, it can be so smooth, which is cool.
Yes, exactly. And honestly, it helps us a lot that we have this trust to each other because we know each other. I was like, I saw how he was working when he was in a different company. He was so responsible. He's such a smart tech talent. Like, I'm very happy to have him in my team. And also, he saw how I was working on my own projects. And now we have this trust to each other. We're super sure that we will do our best. And that helps a lot because if you don't know your founder well, I guess it may provoke even more conflicts during the process.
Amazing. What did you find out about entrepreneurship that surprised you?
That surprised me. Maybe I guess it's this banal thing that everybody is talking about, but that is the fact that we all can do it. I mean, if you really want, you can do it. And of course, we're seeing like these super successful founders, business owners, and it's hard to relate to them. But I'm sure if you like will spend a month with this person, you will understand that he is a human. We all humans, we all can do it. It just takes some effort, of course, some maybe personal traits and your inner desire to be a founder, but we all can do it, definitely. And for me, I'm happy that I realized it quite early because I was always interested in different businesses, companies, and I was always looking at the people who are building it. And at first it seems like, okay, they're exceptional. Something is like really different with them. But now when you look closer, you understand we're all humans. Somebody has this braveness to do it, but somebody should find this braveness to do it, so we all can do it if we want to.
Amazing. And how confident were you when you were just getting started? What did you think about it?
Mm, that's that's hard question. Okay, we'll say, for me, normally when I was employed, I felt so bad and so frustrated being locked in this like corporate environment and being limited by things like that I can do. And it was so painful, so bad. So it seems like for me, I had no other choice. I just I feel good only when I do my own projects, my own ventures. But what made me confident? Maybe it's also from my family, because my parents, they really believed in me no matter what. And my father, he was always leaning me towards like my own project, my own ventures. And my mother was always super supportive. And for me, maybe this was a major factor that I always knew, okay, my closest relatives, my like closest people in my life, they believe in me. How can I not believe in myself? And, in this scenario, I didn't care much what other people would say, because like my parents, they know me and they believe in me. So I always had this confidence, but also it's partially context, partially maybe luck, and just partially it's like my own confidence. Yeah.
Amazing. What is one early success you had, maybe something even small, that made you feel, wow, like I'm on the right track?
Now also I already mentioned that I have this memory where when I only remember good things. So when sometimes when I look back, I see it like only a success story all the time, but no, it wasn't like that. But what was this one thing? Uh, I don't know, really hard to answer. Really hard to answer. Maybe like, I had the period in my life when maybe it was too intense and too crazy. It was when I was fully employed as an architect. I was also finishing my bachelor degree in architecture, and at the same time, I was starting my own company in architecture and interior design, and everything was great. And we were, even though I was like, it wasn't really focused, I wasn't really focused on something, but everything worked. And especially for this company where we did architecture and design, we were winning like contest after contest, and I felt like a superhuman. I thought, okay, I can do everything. But then once I had this feeling, yeah, then the war has happened and everything crashed. So it's always like this, once you start to feel like, okay, I've done it, you should wait for something to tell you that no, still a lot of things to complete. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. That's so interesting. You're saying that when you were doing so well, that was when you were back home in Ukraine?
That was actually that was also a very interesting story, because I am from Belarus and I was studying in Belarus in the university, but I was working in Moscow in Russia. Was employed there, and at the same time, I had like my own company that was in architecture and interior design. We were operating in Ukraine, so it was like three different countries at the same time. Yeah, was great, but when the war has happened, all these three countries, like everything destroyed. So yeah, had to start from zero.
Sounds like you've been doing it pretty well.
Yeah, but even this, when I reflect back, it still feels like, okay, it's like horrible things happened, but I believe it's like everything is for good, and you should try away from these horrible things to something that helps you feel better, even in this situation. Yeah.
I agree. Do you feel like the way that you view yourself throughout this journey has changed much?
Mm. Uh, yes, definitely yes. Mm, it's I guess I should still take some time to understand it better, because I feel I definitely changed a lot, but it's still like so many details. But for sure I can say that in the early days I was super creative, chaotic person. I was like working nights, a lot of mess, everything at once, like working, studying all at once. Like it was really chaos. And now, like I'm super organized. Like I'm very different person in this real. I have this routine, and like you wake up early, you take a cold shower, you try to not eat junk food, you exercise, you try to go sleep early, you never work at night. And for me, it's like a completely different person, but it helped me definitely. And now it's the only way I can survive through this amount of work and stress. Yeah, but also, even my parents, they were saying that I was born old because I was always so like serious, calm, and conscious. So maybe like I changed, of course, but I was always like very serious, responsible in this. It's still with me.
Cool. Do you have any crazy, weird stories, something you guys have done, either a client or an investor or something like that?
Crazy story.
Something out of the ordinary.
I don't know actually. I guess the craziest moment in my life was when I was like working and studying these three different countries, because it wasn't super legal, I would say, because I was studying in Belarus and I had to be there because I was studying a bachelor degree and I had some like lessons there, but that was during COVID time. So it actually helped me to move to another country and pretend that I'm in Belarus. Hope my teachers don't hear it. but but yeah, it helped me a lot. And I was like managing all this. And also when I was starting my own company that was operating in Ukraine, I was like 20 something, like 22 maybe, 21, something like this. But I was always pretending that I'm older because, you have this meeting with the really important clients, with big developers, and you're a student. But no, you never mention it. I was like, doing makeup, dressing this like way. So I feel a bit older, a bit more serious. Maybe it's only in my head, but yeah, it was like definitely fake it till you make it. Yeah.
I agree so much. I think also as women, it's even more because you can do makeup and you can do stuff. I have to look like I'm serious and I'm old. It's
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Maybe it's only in my head that's like maybe nobody noticed it, but I feel still very insecure that I'm a young woman and at the same time a CEO of a startup. So like now have no makeup, but normally if I do go to an important meeting, I try to, at least I feel myself, I feel a bit more confident and maybe a bit more like experienced, old, I don't know, super stupid, but still have it in my mind.
You're not the only one. Yeah.
Happy to hear that.
Wow, interesting. Do you feel like when you started well, for you it's really early, but when you started entrepreneurship, do you think it affected different relationships you had in your life? Like the kind of people you keep closest to you or just the way that you are?
Mm, I guess I don't have such a story. Maybe again because I don't notice such things. But normally I was always very much into work, into studying. So the people that were sticking to me, they basically had same values. And I had support from family, from some friends, and now also if I find someone, we normally have same interests, same values. They're also spend a lot of time on self-development, like some work project. And like, yeah, I guess I don't have a dramatic story here because I was always, I know if you like quit your corporate job and start your own venture, it's highly likely that nobody will support you because you're in a completely different environment and people just won't understand you. But for me, I maybe I am lucky also to have this environment where people relate to my values, and it was quite smooth.
Cool. How do you manage on the one hand really working on your company, building it, doing what you need to do, and at the same time meeting new people, networking, tech events of the sort? Do you do them at all? Like, how do you spend your time?
That's a good question because I guess I'm more like an introverted person. I really feel good alone. I can spend like months just working at my apartment, so I'm really fine with it. But now I really understand that this networking thing is just part of my work. And if I want to succeed and if I want to be a good founder, I have to have it in my schedule. And it's not just like about having like hanging out, meeting some people. It's really you're you're finding some people that can help you and you cannot even like now think how they can help you. And also like I can share my experience with many people and it will help them drastically. And this exchange of experiences, yeah, I don't like the word networking, but yeah, because it's like, I guess now it's like a buzzword, but yeah, I guess it is super important. And if you're a founder and CEO, you just have to have it in your schedule and you have to really understand that it is much better for you, for your business, for other founders. And only together with this like environment network, we can really make a big step and to make world a bit better. Yeah, definitely. That's only works like this.
Amazing. Did you, as an introvert, did you find yourself facing challenges as a CEO?
Mm. Sometimes I wish that we can just hire a person who will be like chief networking officer and will do all this. But I also see it as a personal challenge. I definitely see that now it's my weakness that I'm not so easy to talk to new people, to present my startup in any environment. That like the personal trait that is missing, and I really want to work on it. And I'm already much better with it. So I just see that I just have to develop it. It's just a skill you have to learn, and it will be just a regular work. And I believe it's super important.
Cool. So when you started Plane, were you working on the same idea that you're working on now? Or did you have any pivots?
Such a painful question. No. I mean, generally, the vision stays the same. So we still want to democratize interior design. We want to simplify it. We want every person to be able to afford professional design services because like good design really affects your daily life. It affects your well-being. It matters in which space do you spend time. So it's crucially important for us, and this vision stays the same. But of course, we've made a lot of changes along the way. We started as a solution for offices. We only wanted to do office design, but now we are focusing more on home design, home staging. But again, currently we are in the stage where we consider different ways, and I guess maybe in a month or two we will have a huge pivot because this design industry, and we are currently a B2C company, and that's always hard to survive working with consumers directly. So I guess we're close to our next huge pivot. Not like it was before, it was like small steps, but now I guess we will change it.
Interesting. Yeah, B2C is interesting.
Exactly, very hard. It is very rewarding if you can do it, but to start, it is very frustrating and hard. And you have this feeling like, come on, people, I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it so you have a better design. It is affordable for you. It will change and improve your life. Why you don't like just come to me and pay me money to do it? Because even now, like we really want to make it super affordable. We have a version of a product which is for free completely, and then like some parts will be at like 10 times cheaper still than that you will pay to interior designer, but still super hard to get attention of customers because have to compete with the Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, and everything else, and it's super hard.
How have you been getting to people until now? Like, have you been marketing, or is it more like guerrilla?
No, we decided not to spend money on marketing at all because currently also we are more in this mode when we are testing like small parts of our product, and we are trying to do it organically, purely. So we have some organic content on Instagram mainly. We also want to explore TikTok more because we see some players in the industry that really succeed there. So we only do organic now, but we will see how it goes because currently we don't need such a huge volume of users because we still try to test more than scale. So for now, it's all organic. Don't do any paid marketing.
What is one piece of advice that you've been giving or you heard someone getting about entrepreneurship that you're like, nah?
I have the answer. You know, I'm I'm super frustrated with the situations where very experienced entrepreneurs, like very experienced famous business owners, they're saying like, okay, we were working day and night, we like forgot our personal life. So, and now we are where we are, super successful, but please don't do it. Don't do it this way. Care about like your personal life, don't work during nights, blah, blah, blah. But I believe no, if you didn't do this, if you didn't work so hard, it's like no chances you were there where you are now. And it freaks me out. I just like no, don't believe it. Maybe, of course, maybe when I am like in 10 years super successful, rich and famous, I will also say like, please don't do my mistakes. But now I really want to have these mistakes. I want this messy past. I want to do my best to be there where I imagine myself. So I really hate when those experienced people, they're saying like, no, please don't do our mistakes. But if not these mistakes, you wouldn't be there.
Bravo. I agree. That's a very good point. Like, people feel very comfortable saying, like, looking at it as if you could get only the benefits of the journey, which is interesting.
Exactly. And yeah, exactly. Maybe I am too young to understand it, maybe, but
Same.
still, I want to make this mistake. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. What do you think is one trait that's really important for entrepreneurs?
One trait. We recently were discussing this Sam Altman interview where he was saying like that every successful founder should be super determined. For sure it's like this, and I guess we can also name a lot of adjectives like you have to be brave, you have to have good risk tolerance, you have to be maybe creative, I don't know. But for me, it's also, I was thinking about it recently and I understood that the main thing probably is to have this self understanding, really understand who you are, what you want, how your body works, how to make it more efficient, like why you want to be an entrepreneur, why you want to work on this particular thing. And I guess if you study yourself, study your body, and you understand who you are and what you want, I guess with any traits you can do it if you really understand who you are and why you want to do it. Just basically, you can be whatever. And I believe that we all are super different, super different. And we all can succeed. We just have to understand why we need it.
Interesting. On your journey, how did you progress in that way? How did you learn more about yourself, about what you want?
Yeah, it. I am still working on it because I told you that I was super chaotic and creative at the beginning, and I thought that it is my super strength that I can just survive this house, and when I have these sleepless nights, I have creative ideas and I can do anything basically. But now I really try to work with my body first. Like really, I want to go deeper in yoga. I really try to exercise regularly. I now don't eat any junk food. I practice these cold showers. And I believe when you work with your body first, you have a clearer mind. And first of all, you're more efficient because, yeah, you have this healthier lifestyle and you're more efficient. And with this, you can also understand better what you want to do and how you can do it. That's the first thing, definitely this body work, but also again networking because I get inspired by other people and now I try to engage myself more in different communities, try to talk to more people who are also on this way, and they help me much more to understand myself. It doesn't sound weird, but it works for me like this. But I guess, again, for everyone, it may work differently. You just have to really stop scrolling and to spend some time with yourself.
Amazing. How long did it take from the moment you had this initial vision for the company to the moment you were like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm quitting my job, taking this full time, accelerator, da da da.
Yeah, in like if we yeah, in practice it took like 3 months if it is like just a simple question. So I had an idea, I started to work on it, and in 3 months, yeah, I quitted my job and we started to go full in. But at the same time, for years, I had this inner desire to do a startup in architecture and interior design, and I just wasn't brave enough. So it may be different, yeah, and I guess the answer is 3 months and 3 years. Yes.
It's so interesting. I feel the same when I would tell people how long I've had a startup. It's like, depends when you start counting.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. So we talked about your co-founder that you met by accident. Right now, how do you decide who decides or does what? Because there's things that are obviously him and obviously you, but being a startup, there's a lot of in the middle. So how do you manage that?
Mm, Good question. I guess we still don't have this clear division who's responsible for what, because, like, of course, I'm the CEO, he's the CTO, but I really love to call ourselves more like we are founders. You're a founder and I am a founder, and it's like 50-50, and we should split it. I mean, depends on the situation. Sometimes we just have a month of execution, and it is clear that he's working on tech. I'm working more on product and also on some building some relationships. But when we had this Texas program, we had all at once, like a lot of things happening. And he was helping me with product. He was like even doing like B2B sales. So he was doing everything. And same for me, I also can cover him wherever he needs. So yeah, but you should agree with your co-founder also what you think your strengths are and what you really want to do. Because for us, actually, like normally the CEO is building team, like hiring people. But I know that my CTO, he has a lot of experience with it and he really loves to do it. And I'm okay if he will be responsible for this part more and I can find myself somewhere else inside the company. So we're more like founder and founder, and whatever happens, we split it. But I guess it works at the early stage where you have this math. And then I guess we will find a way to split it because we also know I know what he loves to do and I know what I want to do.
Great. Do you have some memory from along the journey that you're like, ah, that was a good time from the startup?
I guess now is a good time. Yeah, honestly, I miss acceleration a bit because that is always a unique experience. You're all together with amazing people, amazing founders, mentors. That's definitely like this intense time, and a very good one. But I feel like now also is a good time. Yeah, it's like always with me that right now it's a very good time. But ask me when we start fundraising again. As I've heard that those times are not good. Yeah, so we will see, but definitely I really enjoy what is going on now. And probably when you love starting something new, whether like a company, a project, or a startup, I guess these early stages, they're the most interesting ones. When you have to discover, talk to your users, like really create some ideas, test it, iterate. Really love it. Yeah. The hardest and the most rewarding times.
Amazing. What advice would you have to someone who is thinking of starting something or maybe a super early stage? like they're getting into this game,
Mm,
what would you tell them?
yeah, I guess it's also will be very common one. First, dream big. Definitely dream big, because if you're not letting yourself at least to dream big, you will never reach it. So you definitely have to have this grand vision that wakes you up and that helps you survive through all these difficulties. And the second one, fail fast. Yes, that's definitely a mantra that I have in my mind. And I regret that I didn't understood it at the beginning. I was still more like I was a perfectionist. I had wanted to make everything perfect, and every failure for me was like a huge threat. And so my recommendation, definitely fail fast, and maybe sometimes even fail on purpose. That's for me, maybe not for everyone, because you learn when you fail, and it is so valuable. And it's not even like not only founders are saying this. I mean, a lot of VCs, they're investing in second time founders because they know that you failed already. Like, okay, you have this experience. And some of them, I actually had some talks, they're saying like, okay, go fail it, then come back, and it's like you will be a different person, and you will have much more trust. But also, like when we fail, we have this experience that is unlike when you have a success and you don't even sometimes understand why you succeeded. So dream big and fail fast.
Perfect. And I think my last question would be, what would you, how do you take that advice and give it to your younger self? Like, what exactly would you tell you of the beginning?
Yeah, in terms of dreaming big, I haven't had this issue. I was always like uh, very optimistic about things that I can do. So it was fine for me. But about failing fast, that's definitely an issue, because, it's also, I had this really good career in design and architecture, a lot of like wins in different contests, a lot of recognition, and having this like really beautiful and successful path. It is so scary to fail, because you see this like you're just going up, 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 and all the people are like, "Wow, you're doing it perfectly. You're so great. Like, how come you're succeeding everywhere?" And you're like, "Yes." And with this, maybe it's even wasn't like this. I am repeating again that I have this just attitude only seeing good things. So maybe I was like failing all the time. But for me, it's this way. Yeah, but it's definitely, it is so hard when you have this picture of your life that is super perfect, and even small failure feels so painful. That definitely was a problem for me until maybe even still I have this. I understand that you should fail fast. I understand that you should make mistakes, that your iterations should be super messy, not perfect. Like nobody needs perfectionism when you're early stage startup, but still super painful for me. So maybe I I will tell myself, just ignore, try as much as you can, fail, ignore it, and go again, like pursue your dreams. I guess something.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Taisa. That was so interesting and open. I feel like you have the journey that is, on the one hand, it is quite unique in the fact that you, the belief you had is amazing. The fact that you were so full of knowing where you're going from the beginning. And at the same time, it sounds like you've really dealt with a lot of struggle, but you've managed to reframe it in your mind as, this is a positive. This is something I'm learning from. This is something that will make me stronger. I can do this. And I think that that's like the number one thing that any founder should learn and should look at the world in this way. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for going on the show.
Yes, thanks a lot for having me. It was maybe a messy conversation because it was super natural one, but I hope it helps someone, and I am always happy to share